This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Magus, and I guess I need to do an old gamers rant to discuss some of the controversy with a game that I'm actually picking up, which is The Order 1886. Big, huge debate in the YouTube community and the gaming community as a whole. We actually had a debate on the Team Green podcast about this, where I was pretty much on the only person who felt like the order's length shouldn't be an issue or doesn't make it not worth $60. The argument was because of the leaked gameplays, which said it was only 5 hours, it's not worth $60 because you're not getting any value for your money. And my debate was, well, if you really enjoy the game and really like it, doesn't that make it worth your $60? I've always been the type of person who felt like a value of a game or a piece of entertainment is more measured by how much you enjoy it than how long you play it or what features it have. In that argument, to me, any game with multiplayer has value, so I should pick it up, even if it's not a good game or a good multiplayer. That means it's better than a good game. I just don't get that. I don't see how that makes sense. If I have a solid, well-told story in a single-player experience for 5 to 10 hours, as opposed to some shitty servers, some poor mechanics, and just all-around bad presentation from a game that has multiplayer that I could play over and over again, I'm going to pick the short, good experience over that quote-unquote long bang for the buck experience. You know what I mean? It's just a weird argument, and The Order has brought out all the arguments in gaming that you could possibly think of, and I honestly think it's hilarious because it kind of goes back to what I was trying to say on the podcast, is that it's funny how we can make an argument against certain parameters, but then we can give, an excuse or give a pass to things that fall within those same parameters or do worse things. But because we enjoy it or because it's something that interests us, we kind of give it a pass. Kind of like the argument I was making, when they were talking about sports games. It's like, okay, so Madden, every year you get the new rosters, you get a couple of features maybe, and you get pretty much the same problems that you have year in, year out with Madden football. Same thing with NBA 2K. My God, I've ranted enough about the 2K series, where I think it's probably the most solid basketball series I've ever played, but it's nagging legacy problems, and it seems like their obsession with removing what people really like in exchange for different features that aren't necessary definitely weighs this down. But I buy it every year, so it's like, for all my complaining, I'm still investing in it. You know what I mean? And that's just wrong. I can't, like, for me, I can't knock someone who buys Call of Duty every year when I pretty much do the same thing with NBA 2K. And I feel like you can't knock certain games for what they do when you'll pick up something that does something similar or worse. The whole QuickTime event thing that I've been hearing people argue about with The Order 1886. God of War is a celebrated series. A celebrated series that has a ton of fucking QuickTime events in it. I'm not dissing God of War because I'm a fan of God of War, but real is real. There's a lot of QuickTime events. That game started the trend to doing more games with quick time events to plug in between gameplay and action sequence. You see quick time events in damn near anything these days. I mean, Battlefield, it has been known for that with its campaign, and you could say in a roundabout way for the multiplayer too, with the way that you come to somebody and you try to do the knife animation, and they can counter it if they hit the button in time. That's a quick time event. So I mean, it's crazy. Or like the cinematic length. People saying that basically it's a movie. You're not really playing games. Well, Metal Gear Solid 4 is one of the most celebrated games of last generation. One of the most celebrated games of last generation that has a special edition that has a cinematic disc on the documentary that says it has over or at least 8 hours of cutscenes. Think about that. That game has 8 hours of cutscenes. Yet, do we hear anybody complain about that? No, it's considered a masterpiece to a lot of people. Gameplay story, saying that, okay, you know, I don't want a linear story that follows a path, but I want a good story. Okay, well, you were cool with linear stories a while ago. Like, again, God of War, that's a pretty linear story. You're going from point A to point B to point C. You're not really going off the rails in God of War. Maybe I'm not remembering any of the God of War games, but the God of War games kept you on that path. You had your puzzles that stayed within the path. You had your action sequences which stayed within the path. Everything about God of War stayed within a linear path. There was no branching in God of War. But again, we celebrate that. We didn't have a problem with that. You know, same thing with the Uncharted series. Yeah, you can go pick up little, collectibles, which I heard you can do too in the order. But outside of the collectibles, you're going straight through the story linear. There is no breaking paths in Uncharted. Uncharted has no breaking path. No, it's not an open world experience. It's a linear action experience. We celebrate Uncharted. So you see what I mean? It's kind of fun. The arguments that we would make, I feel like, just make no sense because it makes you really hypocritical. Now, I'm not saying all this to defend the order, because I may pick up the game and I may hate it. I may think the story's dumb. I may think that the gameplay mechanics are whack and all that. I'll make that decision when I play it. That's what's probably bothering me the most, is that I'm gonna make that decision once I play it. Most other people, these people aren't playing it. They haven't played the game. They're going off of review scores. They're not really reading the reviews, because if you look at some of the reviews, like with IGN, they have positives in it. Even the GameSpot one that gave it a 5, they have positive in it. Their whole issue, it seems to be, is like they don't like the quick times and they don't like the cutscenes. So they feel like they were bored because they didn't feel like they had a lot of control over the story. Okay, cool. Some people don't like that. Some people actually do like to sit and watch a story, a la Metal Gear. It's Metal Gear, you gotta watch through a lot of cutscenes. You play, yes, you do have some gameplay. You probably have a lot more gameplay than you do in the order, but Metal Gear is predicated on its cutscenes and its storytelling. You can, like, you get more of that than you get gameplay in Metal, but nobody says anything because they love the story, they love the world, they're comfortable with that. So I don't know. I really don't understand some of the reasons that we argue, complain. My thing is, if you're interested in the game, play it. Otherwise, why speak about it? Why care? You know what I mean? If there's nothing about it that remotely interested, if it seems too linear, if it's just single player only, why even start these arguments and complaints and fights? It just makes no sense. But hey, we're drama queens these days. That's how it is. You know, this is the era of being a drama queen. So it is what it is. Anyway, I'm done with this rant. Anyway, you guys, as always, hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Megas, and I'm out. Deuces.